First of all, I streamed way too long last night. And I bet you can tell because, see, the cat boxes hadn't been done yet, and YouTube did not pay me yet, so I didn't able to get the litter. So when I was here last night, I don't know if you guys noticed, I was sniffling, I was swallowing a lot, I was trying to get a lot of water. Well, that's because I could feel a little bit of the thing happening, and I woke up with a sore throat, stuffy nose, sinus infection. So I took a Benadryl. I have ate half the honey in my house. I will say this. I've had honey on a sore throat before. It never burned. And usually when my throat burns, that means it's healing. Like it's hitting the spots. I took a giant ass spoonful this morning when I first woke up, and I swallowed it, and whew. But so if you guys were on the stream last night, the Mother is Smothered, some of you asked how I was doing, what happened. Some of you didn't know. Today we are going to talk about loss. We're going to talk about Zorro. Because I'm not the only one that put down an elderly pet. I don't know how many of you realized it, but Horror also went to the same thing. So you're gonna get two sobbing ladies today. And we didn't bully her. We merely wanted to try to get. Never mind, it's inappropriate. We wanted her to get a boy. There was a boy, and you know what's funny? My husband today, because again, I've been working since Zorro got put down. I have been working full day shifts from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And when that, like an hour after Zorro got put down, I had to go into work. And I went in and I proceeded to cry the whole day. So poor honest Tom and Diane, they had to deal with me, and they were very sweet. Everyone's been incredibly sweet to me. And then my boss's husband came in and he goes, "I'm sorry about your kitty." And I went, like I was just, everyone's been just so sweet. Of course, spent my very last $300 on the entire procedure. I need you guys to understand that putting an animal down is still expensive. And if you're me and you, one, live where the ground's already gotten hard and you can't bury it, and you cannot in good conscience send their ashes off to be dumped with all the rest of the random animals, which would have been a far cheaper option, but I think we all know. Also, I didn't realize it, and I'm pretty sure I haven't looked yet. But the video that I filmed something special for, I'm pretty sure Zorro's going to be in it. So if you guys see it, just leave a little cat emoji when that video comes out to dedicate to Zorro. And I did something, Lindsay, Horror, I don't know if I told you this. Maybe it's cringe. I have no idea. Now, I look like hot shit now because when my husband came home today, like I said, he hasn't seen me. He goes, "You look horrible." Thank you.
Thanks, honey.
I love you too. He goes, I mean, he said, "You're beautiful to me, but you look terrible." I was like, and I know, this is an upgrade. This is better. And the night that Zorro passed away, you're welcome, my love. You're a piece of shit. Play your game, you douchebag. And like dispatched. And
hey, Wookie.
The night that Zorro passed away, I recorded a video for you guys about the experience, because the next day I received messages from people not related to Zorro at all about how my videos help them. And I've been realizing that I catalog them in my head. I don't always remember the names. I don't know if it works same with you, Horror, with like, I'll get messages saying, "Hey, your videos helped me through this. Your videos have been an inspiration to me. Your videos soothe me." I've gotten people telling me that because of me, they've dropped some bad habits. Because of me, they've adopted. Because of me, they've fostered. And so I guess one of the reasons why I recorded it is my idea is maybe because of me, somebody will go out and adopt an old animal. And be there till its last moments. So I actually I got, when your animal dies, get someone that does it right, by the way, but you can get something like this done. Now, I want you guys to all think of this when I say this. They said, we're going to get someone who does it really good. They do an impression of the paws. I don't know about you, but the toes are over here and the pads over here. And I remember watching her do it. And at the time, you know, I had like 5 billion tears in my eyes, but it was. So a lot of you guys have asked what happened and how it went down. Because when I got back from Gatlinburg, I'd already had a bad feeling that something was wrong before I went. And the thing is, when you have an elderly pet, they can decline like that. And because they're so delicate. And now, as you guys know, the AC went out. Well, when the AC went out, we had an influx of fleas because they will explode overnight. They blow really quickly. I got rid of them. But I found out, and I got back from Gatlinburg, there is a little plate under my dishwasher. And I had rug washed before I left. So I always keep a rug washer bottle shoved up onto that because I thought Penny had been ripping it out and crawling under there, right? Well, oh, Ark, thank you, honey. He gave you $5 and he gave me $5.
No, thank you, Ark.
That was very sweet of you, honey.
I appreciate that.
And so I had the bottle holding this plate in place. And when we left, I had put the plate back up. When I got back, it was slingshot across the floor. And I was like, what the fuck? I come to find out it's been Zorro. Well, if you already have an even minor flea problem and your elderly cat crawls underneath a mucky, muggy, wet, under the sink dishwasher, the fleas are going to eat them alive. This is what Zorro was doing. But he's been doing it for a long time. I did not know this because it's so every once in a while he would smell a little weird, but I was like, well, maybe he's just sitting next to the water dish too long. I've been accusing Penny for the last 4 years of this. It's been him the whole time. I know. I was like, my bad. And so that was lending to his problem is he was going to a colder area and he was sitting in a gross area. So that was the first problem. The other problem, please don't hurt my finger again. Meow Jawan is a fantastic catnip brand, but their clasps are very strong. And Hara got to witness me freaking hurt my finger.
Yeah, she beat herself up with it.
So as I told you guys, maybe 2 years ago now, when Zorro broke his first tooth on the dog food, I saved it for the vet. Zorro wasn't able to eat while I was in Gatlinburg because this tooth had become dislodged and was locking with his other bottom tooth. So what was happening is his fang was like this and it was locking this way. So he couldn't close his jaw. And that was something that was happening fairly often. And I had no idea. So Zorro wasn't able to swallow or eat fully for almost a week, which is what led to his downfall. Now, I make no delusions that a nearly 15-year-old cat wasn't already on the decline because he was. I saw videos of him from even 6 months ago. If you watch my video of the mukbang I did, Zorro doesn't even look like the same cat that he did at the end of his life. And I want you guys to just keep this in mind. Who just said it? Jade just said her pit is 15. The arthritis in his hips is getting to him. As something as simple as pain in the hips can decline appetite, can decline their energy, can change the way they go to the bathroom. And that is something that you have to pay attention to.
I can talk a lot about that.
And that's why I know the dog side, since she just lost the dog, I'm going to leave to her. Zorro was unusual when it came to cats passing away. He didn't try to hide from me. He actually, the morning he died, I don't even know how he did it. He got up out of the crate. We kept him in the crate, covered so it stayed warm in there. We put the heating pad on. We were trying to get him to eat on his own because we had pulled out the tooth. That morning, the night before, he couldn't hold himself up. He was laying on his side. The next morning, he was sitting up on his own, completely fine. Well, and not only was able to get up and walk out, he walked all the way from the kitchen to the bathroom to come to me. And so that gave us a false sense of hope. And I tell you that as well. And I know, see, she's nodding because she knows what I'm about to say. Oftentimes, at the end of an animal's life, right before they pass away, they get this last burst of energy. And we're already crying because it's already happening. And it gives you a false sense of hope because, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful of the vet I went to because I told you guys when my mom was dying, I took Axel to the same veterinary clinic, and he told me, your cat is dying. He is dead. Put him down now. And I said, no. And as you know, little motherfucker is still here destroying shit in my house. And so I was not prepared to see this doctor again because he doesn't particularly like me because Axel cost me $4,000. And as we can all tell, I wasn't able to front that all at one time. And so he was very mean about it and was like, you're taking an animal, you can't afford it, and da-da-da-da. Well, I always make sure to pay my bills. And I called him about 2 days after Axel made a recovery. And I was like, I just want you to know he's alive. Still alive. And he's still alive today. And so when I got there, I said to this vet, and she was wonderful. She was so sweet. I said, I need you to tell me if there is anything I can do. I said, if sub-Qs, a pill, if you tell me that the quality of life is there and I can save him, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. But you gotta tell me. And she was very honest with me. She said the problem with it is that she's kind of like us. Since she's a vet, she's like, I can heal my baby. And so she had a bad habit of bringing her pets home and making them wait too long. And I can tell you right now, Zorro probably could have held out a few more days. It would not have been right. And so, because his heartbeat, guys, when I tell you, he was 5. So Zorro's supposed to weigh 11 pounds, 12 if he's really muscular. Zorro weighed 5 pounds when I got him there. Dante weighs more. And so that was horrible. So that's the first sign when you see severe weight loss out of nowhere. You have to pay attention to that.
Yep.
Because that's a sign that they're not able to absorb the nutrients and they're not able to process anything because Zorro had stool in him. He was not able to keep liquid in him and absorb it enough to even poop that out. And I had noticed that because Zorro was notorious for coming and blowing ass in here all the time. And I mean, literally, he was a little trumpet. And so that was the first thing I noticed is that I wasn't seeing him go to the bathroom. I saw him try. Matter of fact, our last stream, I saw him trying 3 times that night. And I was like, that's not good. And that night he gnawed on liver. So I need you guys to think about that. When I streamed out last Monday, I gave him a whole liver and he chewed on it. By Wednesday morning, he was gone. So again, he tried so hard he tried. And that's what she said. She goes, his will to live was there. He did not want to go. Stubborn to the end, of course. But typically with cats, why I say this is typically with cats, a week, sometimes 2 weeks before it is their end, you won't see them. Typically, they'll do one of two things. They will be incredibly clingy, which Zorro always was, so I didn't notice. Or they will be incredibly, whatchamacallit,
Aloof.
aloof, distant. Calliope, what are you looking at?
Just looking at you cry. That's just looking at you.
No, she's trying to climb the pet food thing. I don't know if you guys saw, she's found a new spot to hide amongst all the water bottles or the water dishes. But they will become aloof. They will hide. Appetite will decrease. They will become very lethargic. And these are all signs you have to pay attention to. Now, obviously, each pet is different. Like I said with Zorro, Zorro was lethargic because I was giving him antibiotics. And he was already tired because he was losing weight. The tooth was giving him pain. His hips were in pain. So I'm already planning on preventative with Daisy, Aria, and Axel. They are my 3 next oldest. And my plan is as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of October, Daisy and Aria are going in first because both of them have been acting abnormal since he passed away. Orion's been acting abnormal.
Well, they will. That's
acting
abnormal is actually normal.
Right. And what? I know you want to come in. You're always the star of the show, aren't you, bud? And when you have to put the pet down, I know we've already said this and we've talked about it, and Hara's going to talk about it as well, probably. Do not leave the room until your pet has passed. Because, especially if you've got a very large pet, they will start to panic, and you're their comfort. You have, motherfucker, he's going to break my PS4 someday just by jumping up there. You're all going to see it live on camera. She's going to come crashing down on me.
It's going to hit her. He's going to break it and kill her at the same time.
It'll be great. That'll be a million views. And lots of love for you tonight. Well, I have lots of love for you too, Peachy. And Zorro was enjoying the anesthetic. Very much so. The anesthetic is always a little more. Pay for it. Because sometimes if your pet is really far gone, the anesthetic takes them out without even using the euthanasia drug. That's what happened to Bob, my other long-haired cat that passed away in 2014. His kidneys were failing so bad, and that's actually apparently what happened to Zorro, is they said he was in some form of kidney failure. And with Bob, the anesthesia went in and he was gone. Like within seconds, he was gone. With Zorro, he fought a good 25 minutes. The problem was there was so little liquid in him, they had to fill his cavity with the euthanasia drug. But once he passed very peacefully. And that is what you should always aim for. The last thing I ever wanted was for him to die like Atreyu and Bastion. Atreyu and Bastion died very painfully. They died. It took a long time for them to pass, and their bodies suffered a lot. I watched what almost happened to Penny, and I just wasn't willing to. So, yeah, I blew a pretty penny to do it. I do it again and again and again. So, I want to talk about that part. I'll talk about the missing my pet afterwards because I want Horror to talk about Tiberius's last few days and what you went through. If you don't feel like talking about it, you don't.
No, it's because it's a slightly different situation. In my case, Tiberius was 14 years old. He was alive. He was still moving. He wasn't sick. He wasn't suffering. He wasn't losing. Well, I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. He wasn't losing weight. He didn't have an infection. He didn't have anything going on. He could get himself up off the ground. He could walk through the house. He could go to the bathroom and he could come back, stop by the water dish, maybe eat something and go back to bed. And that's basically what his days were. He was reaching the point when we finally made the call to the vet to schedule, because our vet actually came out to the house for us because we didn't want to put him in the car. He hates cars. He hated going in the car. And at his age, as far along as he was, we didn't want to put him through that. So the vet, talked to my vet and made sure he does make those kind of house calls. And honestly, my vet I've been taking my pets to this vet since I was 14 years old. I've been seeing this vet for over 20 years. I know I can call this vet at the drop of a hat and he will at least try to answer my question. He won't push me off to the emergency vet or something. He will try to help us. But it had just reached that point where his back legs, because he was a poorly formed dog.
Had a malformed spine.
he was, and you know, as he aged, he kind of developed a bowling ball in the middle of his belly because he also had Cushing's. So this dog was a dog that when we got him, because of his malformations, the vet told us he wouldn't live past 7. He lived till 14, nearly 15. And then 4 years ago, the vet diagnosed him with Cushing's. And normally they don't live past 2 years after being diagnosed with that. And honestly, I'm so glad I took my vet's advice because we did not go through the expensive treatments for that, because those treatments for that so often lead to so many more problems for the dog and just put them through so much more pain. But he lived 4 years past that diagnosis. So he unfortunately, because of the way Cushing's works, he started to lose the muscle tension in his abdomen. So his stomach bowled out like he was carrying a bowling ball in the middle of his body. So he had a sway back. He was a sway back dog. And he already had leg issues because of his malformations. He started being unable to walk through the house. He would have problems. We would have to go and pick up his back end, steady him until he felt secure, and then he could start walking. And that was when we called the vet, because we knew we weren't going to be able to do that. We can't always be in the house. The last thing that dog ever wanted was to have an accident in the house. He used to, if he was going to puke, he would force himself to start these reverse sneezing fits so that we would take him outside so that he could puke outside. He didn't want to do these things in the house. So, and the vet never believed us that he was forcing himself to do it, but he would throw his head back repeatedly until he started doing it. It was just the funniest thing.
Some animals have picadillos.
And that was definitely one of his. And so we called the vet, and the vet came. And the stupid, of course, he had to get one of those little bursts of energy. The vet comes in, and that dog picks himself right the fuck off the ground and walks up to the vet like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "Motherfucker! I just called the vet and told him that you're not doing well. Now you're coming up like everything's fine. Fuck! Now the vet's gonna think I'm crazy and I'm doing this too soon." But no, the vet knows me better than that. So, and you know, I'd read all day about the best ways to set up for this, and of course my vet's a little different in general, but you know, we turned the lights on so the vet could see what he was doing. We put him on a towel just in case anything expressed itself after he passed, and the vet shaved a spot just on the underside of his paws. He didn't even use, there was no anesthetic, there was He just asked me to hold his head to make sure he wouldn't bite him, which as mom said, that would have been the first time he ever bit anybody. And of course, you know, he didn't even try. I mean,
You don't realize how much pain they're in until that first needle goes in.
well, there was only one needle.
Yeah.
We didn't, there was only one needle. It went in and um, took just a couple seconds and literally just took a couple seconds and his head went limp and
He was gone. Yeah. That was Bob. Bob went just like that. I broke down crying because you could see how much pain Bob was in. He was all scrunched up and he was all tight. And then as soon as the liquid hit, he went, and I just saw the most relief I'd ever seen on an animal's face. He was so happy to go. And so I know what you mean.
I don't know that he was happy.
I mean, about the quickness, but how.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he was definitely ready to go. If anything, we probably pushed him further than he needed to be.
And
But yeah, it's the other side of that conversation about when do you let a pet, or do you make that decision for the pet, and it's hard to decide. I mean, on one hand, they can force you to, and then on the other,
yeah. And the hardest part afterwards is, especially for an elderly pet, especially for a pet that you've had since they were a baby, and that's been the hardest part for me, because all of you all know that there is not a moment that I didn't have the risk of him coming up to me and slapping me. And I, for almost 15 years, have not been able to go to the bathroom by myself because of him. He is the reason I couldn't close the bathroom door anymore, because he figured out how the doorknobs work and he would sit there and try to turn them, but his paws had too much fur, so there was no traction. And so we just, after a while of him screaming at the doors, we left the bathrooms open. And then he would come in and he'd make me turn on the sink, and then he actually didn't want to drink, he just wanted me to put the sink on for him, and then he'd get down and leave the room. And heaven forbid I turned that sink off, he'd run right back in and get right back on the sink, so I'd turn it back on. And the hardest part is coming home and expecting him there in his usual spots. And the hardest part is every time I sit now, I automatically am looking for him to run into the room, because that's what he's done for the last, since Bob died, is if I sat, I couldn't sit for too long because I would get demands to be held. I never could cook without him whacking me. I couldn't go into the kitchen without tripping over him. I couldn't snooze without him on my chest. And these are the parts that, you know, and I said this in the video that, again, I'm not sure if I'm ever even going to release it. And I promise you, I look like hot shit in that video. I could not believe when I looked over at the screen, I looked like death. I was like, holy shit. But a lot of people will tell you it's just an animal. A lot of people will tell you, you know, it's really not that big a deal. You can get another, but this is a being that you have had your home life for sometimes upwards of 15, sometimes 20 years. This is something that you shared your home with, you, when you had to cry, when you didn't feel good, any of it. That creature is there. And it's a lot for me because I didn't just lose a cat. I lost the cat Brandon gave me. And I lost the cat that my family and Brandon made sure I got because I was so horribly depressed during the recession. And I would always say the best thing that happened to me in 2009 was Zorro. The best thing that happened to me in 2010 was getting engaged. What the fuck did I lose last Sunday, guys? So it's really, I don't know if it's ironic or coincidental that I lose my engagement ring and then I lose Zorro. And Zorro, everyone that met him loved him. I never called him the king of the castle. Other people came up with that title for him because I didn't want him to get too big for his britches. And because Zorro was a very intuitive and intelligent cat, Zorro understood multiple signals. Zorro understood the pattern of the family the most. And he was, if Christian comes on, Christian has met him. You can ask Gothics. You can ask any of my friends from the last decade that knew Zorro. Zorro was different. And I'm not saying I play favorites because the problem is my OG followers remember when the kittens died. I was this inconsolable too. You remember when Penny almost died. I was this inconsolable. The difference is I'm very lucky that unlike my other animals that I lost in a very quick moment, I had the time to prepare myself. I had
it helps.
Yeah. It doesn't help in the moment. Because I'll tell you right now, I carried his body for a few minutes in the vet's office. Probably looked like a crazy old spinster holding my frail dead cat, my hair gray, me crying. It looked terrible. And what was really sweet is the next day when I was waiting to get up to go to work, I went on the couch and this is going to sound so cringe. I took home the blanket he passed away in because I wanted to make sure the other animals could smell that he passed away.
It's actually important.
Yeah, it's very important. If you have a large amount of animals like I do, and you have an animal that was very integral to your menagerie, like I did, because all the animals maneuvered around Zorro, all of them. I mean, whenever I would yell Orion, it was usually Orion and Zorro, like it was synonymous with each other. And Orion was hyper focused on him. So that morning, I laid on the couch. I put the blanket where he normally slept. And they all piled on me, but I downloaded the video from my internal ring camera because I couldn't believe it. Everyone here knows Orion is a fucking bull in a china shop. He is a piece of shit, and he doesn't know the word gentle if it slapped him upside the head with a brick. He got up when my alarm went off. I had to get ready for work. And everyone, remember, he lost the cat too. And Starman is not as wordy as me, but send a little love to this man too because he had to do a lot this week and work a lot. We both been busting ass. But Orion got up, he walked around the room when my alarm went off because usually Zorro would signal me to get up too because he wanted breakfast. Orion got on the couch and he came over and he tapped my leg. There's not been a time in the 6 years I've owned this meathead of a dog that he's done this shit. And he asked for permission to be on me. And is that Calliope right there?
Yep.
Oh no, she's way over there, dude.
Yeah, he's. I see her.
And
She doesn't want to see him.
No, she don't want to see nobody. Not until I go to the bathroom, then she wants to see me. You the bitch.
Sydney, I am not a chew toy.
Already? Oh, I guess it is midnight. Okay. Um and whatchamacallit? Um it was just stuff like that. Aria has been acting weird. She's been standing sometimes in the middle of the house just screaming. She's been sleeping on the blanket. Axel has been needing it. Uh Most of the cats weren't super close with Zorro because Zorro was a dick. And Zorro bullied half of them. But the cats that did always interact with him, they're not okay. Daisy especially is not okay. She is acting like she did back when she was an outdoor cat. And very, very nervous, very anxiety ridden, hiding, um, vocalizing a lot more. And Daisy is only a sneeze younger than Zorro. So I'm very worried about her. Because when Bob died, I only had her, Zorro, and Bob. And Zorro and Daisy were very depressed after Bob died. Like, the whole house was like a morgue. And that's the hardest part, is I think the adjustment period.
Well, another thing is Daisy never went into our room, and now she's only in our room.
She started for a little bit when I'd come in at night, but not like now. Now she's just like in there. And you want to sit for a second instead of standing? And
She's in there right now.
just sitting in the window. And it's what's hilarious is Athena is a bit of a fucking. She always wanted to get on my chest in lieu of Zorro when he was here. Now that she has no competition, she takes that spot happily. She's like, I will sit on you. This is my moment to shine.
I will say, I think putting Tiberius down at home was probably very helpful for everybody because they sniffed him before, they sniffed him after. And everybody other than being a little off, I can't say sad. They don't quite get sad, but they do, but they don't at the same time. They didn't. They seemed to understand and accept pretty quickly what happened and moved on.
It's typically when they're like super like.
God, you suck.
When it's typically when I see animals that are like, I know if Arya dies before Nova or vice versa, it's not going to be okay. Calliope was really bad after the boys died because she was hyper bonded to them. Calliope was vicious for a while after they died. And so I have seen when bonded animals lose their friend, their partner, whatever it could be. That is usually tough. And that's why I already said to Starman, and obviously this is not a tomorrow thing. Don't jump on me. But I've already started telling him, you need to get a third dog, a young one. And he's like, why? I'm like, so when we were in Gatlinburg, Orion could not mentally handle Greta crated literally next to him and not touching him. He could not handle her leaving the house without him. Greta is going to be 8. Orion is 6 in December. If Greta goes before Orion, he will not be okay. They are heavily bonded. These dogs are best friends. I need to make sure. Because Greta is a dog that requires another dog in her life. She is ridiculously lonely without another dog. This is the whole reason why we got Orion to begin with. And so it's stuff like that where I am a firm believer in multiples and in at least the 3 policy, at least 3. Because when Bob died, Zorro and Daisy had each other. And that's what so and so I believe in that. And it's not going to be a today thing. It's not going to be a tomorrow thing. This is a Starman and I have to get the house bought, and we have to figure out what's going on first before we even think about it. But it is a in the next few years thing.
Something to think about thing.
Something to think about, prepare for, things like things like that. Hopefully, when Biden gets out of office and my dog food isn't double in price, it'll be more foreseeable. And it's just, I guess, number one, guys, I will give you a warning that I didn't think about. I'm gonna tell you this. This did not even cross my mind. This wasn't even on the radar. Your fucking algorithm is going to break your fucking heart if you even mention elderly pet loss.
Oh God, no, don't do it.
My Instagram and my YouTube have been traumatizing me for the last week. And it's like I am constantly seeing now videos and photos and products about the Rainbow Bridge and animals dying and adopting old pets. And that's the worst of it, guys. I am getting constant reminders that there are cats and dogs in the shelter that nobody wants. I am in a vulnerable state right now, and I'm about to come into money to take care of debt. I need
Take
someone.
care of the debt, not the cats.
Exactly. I need someone to come here with a whip or a mace or something.
I will come down there and beat you myself.
Keep me away. I die. Even Diane's met Zorro. And she can tell you he was a dick, but he was the ruler of my household. I'm trying to lift the star spirit. And so it's because we've already discussed when I lost Bastion and Atreyu, Starman did say at some point we were going to go to the shelter and get another cat for me. Not obviously anytime soon right now. He said at some point we will do it. And I don't believe right now I'm okay to do that. Because I need to be clear-minded and not Cassie-minded. And the problem is that I will... Oh, Daisy May, there you are, baby. Yeah? My ADHD overdrive, I know. Hi, baby. Yeah, not yet. I know, not yet, babe. I'm just saying. And I know that if I went right now, especially with, as you all know, Christmas coming up, this is the dangerous time because this is when people are going to be dumping pets. And so if you, unlike me, are going to be in the market for another pet, do check there first this time of year because this is when you're going to get purebred, fully grown, housebroken, well-behaved animals. They may not be well-behaved when they're at the shelter. This is the most important part to understand. If you get something that was pampered and shove it in a shelter, it may act like a dick. It may bite somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they're at the shelter. So just keep that high toasty. Keep that in mind. And yes, you're right, Esteban. I am not in the market for a new pet right now, but that's why I'm saying it. I'm going to put it this way. If you are in a heightened emotional state like I am, but you have the room, the money, and the capacity to show your ass up to the shelter and go on a shopping spree, then do it. But if you're in a vulnerable state like me, but you also head, ass, and knees deep in pets and debts,
and buying a house,
and trying to help get a restaurant going, and about to
and
have
a little niece or nephew on the way.
Beat me to it, exactly. Then don't be fucking stupid and go. Don't volunteer. Send the money, but don't go. Don't look at the advertisements. Don't look at the pages, because it's just like they say, and it's gonna sound stupid to put it this way. It's just like they say, do not go to the store hungry, because you're gonna buy something you don't need. A lot of people will adopt a pet they can't handle. Don't do that. You're not helping the pet. You're not helping yourself.
Joker on Rumble says he's sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And it's difficult. Is very difficult. All of this is, but I will say that turn off the sad animal commercials. I can't even listen. I love the song "In the Arms of the Angels." I can't fucking hear it ever now.
Does it help if I tell you it's about heroin?
Listen, I don't care what it's about. All I imagine is heroin falling like snow on that pit bull in that fucking plastic container in the middle of winter. That little old pit bull.
Damn ass sad eyes. I hate them.
Oh, pit bulls have the best sad eyes. Them and I hate that song. It is such a beautiful song. But I will say to you guys, there's a page on Instagram, and I think it says Elderly Pet Memorial. And I just hold on, let me get it.
Don't do it. You're just gonna cry.
No. I know where you think I'm going. This is not where I'm going.
Okay.
Where is it? It says honoring your animals. And
no, don't do it. You're just gonna cry.
Ready? Why aren't you playing? Oh, because I already played it. Oh no!
Did it disappear?
No, it won't let me replay it. They sent me a voice message.
Aw.
And it was so sweet. They said, let me see. I'm gonna have to shut down Instagram and restart it. They sent me a voice message, and I'm trying to get it up because they did not have to send me this message. Will you work now? No, why? My Instagram's been doing this lately, and I don't get it. It's very annoying. Let me see if I can get it up on here. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds. God. That's the worst part. I hate the itchy throat. I don't need to go to that page. I just need to go to Instagram, damn it. Of course. My Instagram is having a problem now on here. Come on. There we go. Okay. Hopefully it'll let me play it on the computer. Can you hear that? You couldn't hear that?
No.
Let me try. Oh, I knew a dozen small fishes and somehow they disappeared one by one. The last one died happy and big.
Yeah, thanks, Unlucky.
I just wanted to send you a big
Can you hear that?
Yep.
video hug about sweet Zorro. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and you're right about that. It really never does get easier. And 15 years is a long time. So just sending you all good, warm wishes, and hope you're taking real good care of yourself, being kind and gentle with yourself, making sure you're getting some rest and hydration, and hope you can find some comfort in our wonderful community here. We're all here for you.
And I just wanted to share that because it's like, it's little moments like that that are very sweet and kind. And I will say this, I have had nothing but kindness with this, and which is very unusual for me because when Bob died, people were not kind to me. From the vets to family to everyone, a lot of people acted like I was overreacting, like I was being ridiculous. I had many people tell me that I should have just taken him out back and smashed his head, that I should have just let him outside to die. There was a lot of different things people said, none of it compassionate. And so And when the kittens died, it was also a little rough because everyone's like, well, you haven't really had them that long. I don't know why you're upset. They're just, and I was like,
They're kittens. Why wouldn't you be upset?
Yeah, to begin with, they're kittens. Second of all, I found Bastion on Mother's Day. And third of all, how they died. So in recent years, people have been more receptive to understanding that they're more than just an animal. And I think it's because even though the kittens died during the pandemic, I think the pandemic is what changed a lot of people's opinions, because when people didn't have people, they had animals. When people didn't have anyone else, they adopted. Adoption skyrocketed during the pandemic. People bought puppies, adopted kittens, fostered more. And that was something, I think it did change a lot of the mentality. And
no, my vet got nearly impossible to get into during the pandemic because of that.
Yep, it was just overflowing. And what?
Oh, I was just thinking about the time I walked in to take my pets in, and his receptionist was just pissed because so many people were calling for appointments, and she's like, "This is ridiculous." And then they stopped taking new patients.
A lot of my because I go to a low cost vet for most of the stuff, and they are now still, because now people know who they are. They are still impossible to get into in a lot of ways. And excuse me. And so it's just, it's multifaceted when it comes to losing an animal. And I also wanted to thank everyone, because a lot of you guys, this entire channel developed around my animals. And there's a lot of interviews I'm in, and a lot of live streams I'm in, and a lot of videos I've recorded where he's in there. And it's just, I think that's the greatest gift of all for me, is that I got to document so much time with him. And that means so much to me, because I think my pets are amazing, obviously. And it's not that I want fame or fortune. I want people to love my animals as much as I do. I want people to want to buy them treats and toys as much as I do, because I think my animals deserve the world. And so when I posted about him, I fully expected anyone on Twitter, to be a dick. That's what shocked me the most. There wasn't a single mean tweet.
Wow.
Right. And
especially with the number of people you've pissed off lately.
That's what I'm saying. I have fully expected at least one person to come out of the woodwork and be like, you fucking deserved it. I'm glad your cat is dead. Not a one. Not a one. And so Zoro scratches the into everyone's heart. Oh, Derp, you can't say that shit to me. Because he was a little thief. You guys, I don't know. I've told you the story how he got his name, right?
Yeah, you have, but that doesn't mean I remember.
So you've heard it, but you don't remember it. It meant a lot to me too, because I wouldn't know who Zoro was if it weren't the case. When we got Zoro in, because how it went down was Brandon and I had stopped talking for a while. And over something stupid Brandon had done, because I always will love Brandon, but he was a dick. Just like Zoro, he was a dick. And Brandon made a lot of selfish choices. And one of these choices deeply hurt my family. And my mother and father, once they decide, especially my father, once they decided, No, I know you meant it in a good way, Derp. It was wonderful, but it still broke my heart a little bit. It broke my heart in happy tears. And I didn't talk to him for a while, and then Brandon started talking to me, and he knew I was already depressed because Seamus had been gone for, I think, a year or two at that point, and I very much missed owning a pet of my own. I've always noticed that my mental health is much better when I have an animal. Like I've told you guys, I feel like the Lord made it my mission to deal with animals. And Brandon said, the kids found a kitten. And I was like, they did? And I don't know where this photo is. I wish I had it. He wanted, and he knew how to lure me in. He said, I want you to meet this kitten. And I was like, okay. And so we started talking again, and he picked me up, and we went to his house, and we went all the way up to the 3rd floor, back when Starson could climb stairs. And up, hiding in a box, was this little tuxedo kitten. And he was, at the time we thought of she, he was so fluffy, very tired because he was picky as fuck and would only eat Cheez-Its. And so at the time, his name was Cheez-It. And Brandon said, the landlord said, we have to get rid of her. We can't keep her. And my sister won't keep her in the house. She keeps shoving her outside. Problem is, it was getting towards winter time. This is in November. In New England, we have foxes. We have coyotes. This is a very small and very dark black kitten. Very easily gonna get killed. Okay? They kept shoving him outside. And I started providing food to bribe his family because Brandon would be at work. They'd do it when he was away. I started providing food to bribe them to keep him in the house. And one day I went over with my friend Jess and I said, they know I'm coming. I'm going to come see the kitten. And I hear, and I look down and there's Zorro right next to the doorstep. And so my mom and dad had no idea at the time that I was planning on taking this kitten. You see, my mother and father had planned to go to the shelter and adopt a kitten and surprise me on Christmas morning.
Aww.
And so my mother and father were very mad that Brandon ruined this. So on top of them already not liking Brandon anymore, he then ruined their Christmas surprise. And my mom was always salty about that, and Daddy was still salty until too long ago. And when it was a couple of days before Thanksgiving, I need to remind you guys, I didn't have a door on my bedroom. All right, let's start with that. I only had a curtain. You saw in the photo I showed you guys, I only had a curtain. When I went to pick up Zorro, because they said, if you don't get him tonight, or her rather, they said, if you don't get Cheez-It tonight, we are putting her in the shelter in the morning. And so my mother and father begrudgingly said, okay. I and Starman in his car drove to get him in the rain. We brought him home. And that night I found out she was a he. Originally he was going to be named Evelyn. And then I was just feeling him over and found these 2 little balls. Okay, this is not a girl. It's a boy. And I was going to name him, because I'm a nerd, Sora. Because all our cats up until then, Starlight, Shadow, Seamus, had S names, and I loved Kingdom Hearts. My dad said that name is retarded, don't use it. I said, well, it's my cat, I want it. And so again, Zorro kept breaking out of the room, and my mom and dad kept yelling at me. I'm like, I don't have a door, how am I supposed to keep him in here? Well, this one time, Dad and Mom stopped arguing about it, and he was out in the kitchen. And my brother was sitting out there with a pork chop on his fork. And idly leaned over Zorro and said, you want it, pal? Zorro leapt off the ground, latched onto that pork chop, and went and yanked it off the fork and ran with it. And my dad said, that little puffy pants poofer, he's a little thief. It's the mask of Zorro. And that is how Zorro got his name. And at the time, we still had Shadow, who was my mom and dad's cat. Shadow was my Zorro's world. And he liked his girls big. He tried his best to mount her, but his little booty cheeks only got to the middle of her back. So it was like watching a midget ride a sperm whale. It was just, God bless him, he tried. And Zorro's always been a little shit from the moment he was in my house. For the longest time, we could not cook alone in the kitchen. Because if you left any meat on the counter, he would watch you. You could be sitting here like this, cutting. He would wait for your head to turn, and he was very quick. He'd jump up and grab the breast and jump down. And this happened fairly often. One night, Starman bought me steaks. Starman can't cook a lot of things. One of the few things he can cook is steak. Starman bought the steaks and made the mistake of walking out of the kitchen. And, excuse me, I don't remember what he had to go grab. It was something to do with cooking. And he came back and Zorro had both steaks. Both. And he was gnawing on them. And so we had to eat ramen that night. Because we ain't got money to replace the damn steaks. And so, and this was Zorro in his prime. But up until 2 weeks ago, he was still climbing on my damn counters. He was still doing it, guys. What's crazy is I am so accustomed, and I bet you're gonna be able to confirm this with yourself. I'm so accustomed to waiting. I full well know he's gone. But tonight when I was cooking dinner, I kept looking to see if he had gotten on the counter. And when I got out of the bathroom this afternoon, Daisy was sitting on my bureau, and the light hit her fur, and it gave the optical illusion that her fur was longer, and her eyes looked so much like Zorro's. When I tell you, I thought it was him for a minute. Oh, that crushed me. And I went in and I was crying, and then Orion ruined it because Orion can't handle me crying, and he has to scratch in. But that's one of the hardest things. When I look for him, I keep expecting him. The hardest thing is not calling him out. That's one of the hardest things, is to not be able to call out for him. Because I've done it for all of my adult life. My entire adult life, I've had him. I grew up with him. I wasn't even engaged. I was a maid. I was a maiden when I met him. And it's very hard. It is very hard. Oh, they all know I'm sad, Peachy. They all know I'm sad. They've all been handling kitty gloves. And they've all been, that's why I have again, like Hara said, that's why I have the blanket here. Because they wanted to cremate him with it, and for numerous reasons. One, it's a star blanket. We all know that I'm keeping that. Second of all, I specifically took that one because I needed to make sure I brought back something that smelled like him dying, so they would know. And so these are all things that, and that's going to be the hardest part, is when you have to adjust and you have to be kind to yourself, to remember that it's like, I don't know which one said it. Someone said old habits die hard. It becomes a habit, especially with an elderly pet. Zorro had gotten in the habit of literally sitting right next to my feet no matter where I was. And so, especially when I was in the kitchen, I can't count how many times I've accidentally drop kicked him because he would sit right next to my feet.
Yeah, I still check the usual spots for Tiberius, or if one of the other dogs kind of shuffle wrong, you kind of think it's him with because his feet made a very distinctive sound. And dinner time is a lot quieter because he used to, and he would do it especially to sheep, is he would kind of honk because he honked. He didn't bark. He didn't bark. He didn't growl. He didn't yip. He honked for because he was tired of waiting for someone to finish eating and share with him.
Oh, girl.
So it's very.
Just
You
go
missed him.
ice.
Oh, pretty girl.
Once you snatch her, she's fine. But if I let her go, she's gonna bolt. Because she is severe high anxiety. Oh. What? You a bad girl? You know you are. She's as naughty as he is, though. And she gives zero fucks. Huh. Once she is very much, she calls her own shots. When I go to the bathroom, she decides that I'm going to hold her. If I put her down, she literally immediately turns and gets right back on me. And she got long ass claws too. You my bad girl? Yeah, you are. You a bad girl. She's the last of my stripy trio. Because she was found 20 miles from Atreyu. And they got brought in together. And she's one of the 3 animals that's going to ruin my household because it's between her, Athena, and Penny. So, but you can see she's a very loving cat.
Yeah.
When she's not thinking that the world's falling down around her. We can't walk up to her. If we are walking into a room, she bolts. She's the reason why my desk is always in disarray. Yes you are, you bad girl. But it's and she is a very pretty kitty. That's the worst part. She's so cute. Oh, and in PetSmart. Oh, the cat adoption section.
Yeah, we have a local rescue group, I guess you could call them, and they bring cats in and set them up in the little kennels and have people walk by them. Not exactly my favorite group. They don't agree with some of the things they do, but
I like the group. I'm friends. I know of the group that does it in my town, and the problem is there's a cat that looks just like her. Its name is Foster. The only reason Foster did not come home with me, and because she's like 7 years old, Foster has to be the only animal in the household. They didn't quite specify, and the funniest thing is we know somebody tried to adopt her because before her sign said not sure about dogs, and she was gone for about 3 weeks. Her sign is back up and the not sure about dogs is crossed out and it says no dogs.
yeah,
they know for sure now. And it broke my heart because she is so cute and so playful and so nice. Like she's a total lap cat. But a lot of people stray from the idea of being forced to only have one. They like the idea of adopting an animal, but they like the idea of potato chip. You know, once you have one.
Some critters aren't potato chips.
No. You are, though, aren't you? When you're not being a dick. But I knew we had to talk about that. But you know what the worst thing is? It's this week, guys. It is this week. Because the day Zorro died, my friend Kelly's father-in-law passed away 2 hours later. And then that afternoon, I don't know if any of you remember, but when I had Bastion, I was fostering a kitten called Poof Poof. And he got adopted out to my friend Amanda. Poof Poof just got diagnosed with cancer that day as well. So it was all over a really rough day. And I was in such an emotional state. Starman tells me that in the middle of work, and I started screaming. I said, "What the fuck is up?" I was just not okay. Now, granted, it was after hours; there were no customers, so um, and I'm really glad I did not go out into the sales floor. I call it the sales floor, but it's not. It's called the main dining. And a customer that really knows me wanted me to, and I told Diane, I said, "Tell them no. Tell them I can't for whatever reason. Tell them no because I looked bad." And it's been a long week. It's been a very long week. And did you enjoy that? Was that delicious?
Oh, God, really?
Do it again. Give her the tongue lashing.
Oh.
Are you happy now, young lady?
Touched my tongue with his.
I hate when Orion does that, and Orion does it on purpose.
I'm pretty sure he does it on purpose.
I got worried about my wolfhound getting depressed because he knew, are you going to puke on me? Because that's gross.
I'd put her somewhere else.
I'm waiting because it looks like it's settling. There's a good girl. Don't do it. Don't do it. Make smart choices. Good girl. No, because she's got sharp claws. That's the one thing. She is one of those cats that when she launches with all four paws. Uh-huh. I got worried about my wolfhound getting depressed because he knew those two from the day he came home, and now they're both gone. Buried them and planted a tree over them. And that's something where it's like I've already said, and I stated it numerous times, I'll state it again. The day I die, whatever animal ashes I have, spread them over my grave. Whatever my grave is, this is here on video. That's what I want, because I don't want them sitting in a box and landing up in a landfill and I would, however many kids my brother and sister-in-law have, I doubt they want to inherit auntie and uncle's collection of dead animal boxes. You know, I don't think that's on their list. Yeah, who's a pretty baby? Who's a good girl? Do it. Yeah, exactly. And what, you want to come back up? Come here. Oh, I gotta clip these claws, bitch. You got some talons going on there. You got some hella talons. But it's been otherwise, I haven't paid attention to much. It was something I wanted to show. My brain is in dead mode though. Like, that's the other problem. Like, in the moment, I was like, oh, well, we can talk about this tonight, and we could talk about that, and da-da-da-da-da. And now my brain is like, depressy Bessie. I will say that I feel like I'm doing exactly how I felt I would. And I think I said it. I a couple of months ago on this stream. I knew the day that Zorro died, I was not going to be okay, but I knew that I would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing that you always want to be with your. Of course, if I had to pick, like, and I think I was talking to Michelle about this. I am perfectly happy being at home 24/7 with my animals and my husband. It does not depress me. It does not bother me. If I get the urge to go somewhere, I simply go. And otherwise, this is my happy place. This is where I want to be.
Stop it.
What about you?
Yeah.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. See, again, up until the pandemic, I think a lot of people saw a lot wrong with that, and now they don't.
I guess I never really cared if anybody saw anything wrong with it, because I never paid attention to if anybody saw anything wrong with it. I've never been a go out and do a lot of things person. I've always been a homebody.
People have always commented on it to me, like, so as long as I've lived, my family mostly stayed at home. We didn't really go out and do stuff mainly because of money. And when we would, we'd go as a family. And when I met Matthew, nothing really changed. We'd go out together, but we spent all of our time together. And a lot of people would get like, ugh, why? Like, it made no sense to them why he and I enjoyed each other's company. And like, they make comments on it. And then when I moved out and they saw that we didn't really go many places, like, when we moved here, we were still in our 20s. We didn't care about going to bars or clubbing or anything like that. And people were like, oh my God, you just sit at home. That's kind of loserish. Like, a lot of people did not understand, and they would roast me or make half-assed comments like, my house is where my mattress is. I don't need to be there. And I'm like, well, my house is my kingdom, and that's where all my favorite shit is. And it didn't make any sense to me why people wouldn't want to stay home, which is another reason why when the pandemic hit and everyone was like, oh God, we got to stay home all the time, I was like, now you'll see why I love home. And Calliope be such a cuddler when she wants to be. What a good girl. Bro, it's crazy out there, right? It's insane right now. It is insane, all this shit going down. Interfighting, fighting going on online, fighting going on in between the political factions, fighting going on in the Middle East, fighting going on in China, fighting going on everywhere. Criminals getting away with shit. And that's why, you know what's so much easier? Cats. Cats are way fucking easier, Calliope. Your claws need a severe clipping.
God, you're getting too big.
His saddle looks so fresh, though.
Him?
Yeah. His straight black saddle looks so fresh.
He's so... He's over here.
I've never seen Calliope.
Huh?
I think this is the longest you've all ever seen Calliope.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever been with you quite this much before.
Well, usually Zora was taking up this location. And he had a presence. But this is what she likes to do. Like, she is a massive cuddler. And she's someone I can do nearly anything to. Like, I can touch her paws. I can touch her face. I can touch her belly. Like, Calliope is a very tolerant cat in a lot of ways. But the moment that the fear strikes her, this bitch launches. Boop, boop, boop. Like, look at this. Look how fucking cute this is.
She is cute.
Hendrix is like this too. I wonder if it's a brown tabby thing.
You know, Alex is like that too. Alex will let me, hold him and wiggle him around and squish him up and... Ow! I am not a chew toy.
She doesn't like the stretch, but Arya does. I might have, if Calliope gets down, because Calliope and Arya are kind of at odds. But Arya's kind of at odds with everybody. I'll bring Arya in and I'll show you guys the cat stretch, because Arya does the perfect cat stretch. Perfect. Like, it's adorable. Oh, you're really comfy now. That didn't even make you jump, huh? She loves the kitty spankings. And this cat is FIV, by the way, guys. This is a cat with pan loop, or I always get it all confused. You can't have all these fucking shortenings. Just give me the disease. And it's been a little while, but she is an ill cat technically. So I want you to see all this. If you don't have a cat and you're looking to get one, these cats are some of the least adopted. And one of the reasons why I kept her, because I knew it was a death sentence. And can I do the kitty stretch with you? Do you do it? I'm gonna dislodge my shirt, child. You don't do the stretch. Okay, I'm sorry.
They can do anything but that.
Can you do the stretch with her? I can turn the camera.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, see, do you guys see what she just did? She just realized Starman's here, and her head whipped right around.
Yep.
She's not purring as loudly now either. It's okay. There's a good girl.
I heard you wanted her, so I was like,
Well, I was gonna, if Calliope got down, which I think she's about to, because she sees Arya. So it's kind of on site with these two, mainly because Arya will go from 0 to 300. See where her focus is now? So when you have an anxiety-ridden animal,
don't do that, Arya. You never fall.
honey, fix her so she doesn't fall then. She's completely stopped purring now. So you're watching anxiety in real time.
And she's got grumpy face.
It's okay. Matt, go ahead and walk towards me.
Oh yeah, grumpy face.
Good girl. That purring you're hearing is Aria, if you can hear it. She's a very loud purrer. You're a good girl, Calliope. It's okay. Ooh, she's starting to purr again.
Ooh.
That's good. See, Aria's happy as long as she's on Starman. But, hi, baby girl. She's not been doing okay. Let me see. I'll turn so that way you guys can see her. There's Aria. Yeah, I know. You're so mean. Are you mama's mean girl?
Oh, look at that face.
Aria does the perfect stretch. Right now, she wants to come down. I can see it in her face. She's actually making, like, the motions. But she doesn't want to fight. See how she's looking for a spot?
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't come down, kid. And, yeah. She's gonna try to crawl on me, sir. I can see it in her eyes. And so, like, what you saw there, guys, when Calliope is staring. So, what you were seeing is that a space ghost? No, that is a Ghostbuster shirt. I bought him for Christmas 2 years ago. When a cat is afraid, they will hyper focus. See where her eyes are?
Mm-hmm.
So she is generally relaxed. She's much more tense than she was before, and her eyes are not leaving him. And this is what happens with anxiety-ridden animals. Now, she is being fantastic, honestly, all things considered. But these are things that if you notice a cat is kind of laying low like she is, watching things, kind of looking like she might bolt any second.
Getting that tenseness.
What you doing over there, sir? You just enjoying showing off your cat to a camera that can't see it?
Just petting Aria. Being ridiculous at the moment.
She's always ridiculous. She's always. Aria will roll in your arms and then fall right out. But is there any animal news you have heard about?
Heard about?
Here we go. Tammy Aria, because that Aria fell and that's what just happened. What?
Oh. Has I heard any animal news? You know, I'd been thinking of something we should talk about, but I can't remember it now.
Good night, love you. Was it to do with wild animals?
Not that I can think of, no.
I watched a gator crunch a turtle. I
Cool.
watched an orca toss a turtle. Brian said, love is always going to be the best feeling in the world. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Brian. Let me see if I've got it on my Facebook.
Is it as funny as watching them toss seals?
Bro, it was brutal. This shit was hard. It was tough. Let's see. I gotta go to my face. I feel like there was something I wanted to show you all.
Black Cat apparently sent you a vid on Insta.
That girl sent me a vid every 10 minutes.
I still can't. I've decided this stage I'm old, and I have no idea how to use Instagram.
There was the videos of Sinbad, but it'll show my Facebook name, so not that. A Facebook name is still fake, but
No reason to give them more idea.
that was it. Hold on. I found it. Excuse you. Excuse you. They were showing these tigers. And you guys, this is like I actually cried a little. I've been behaving myself. Yes, I will say you've been kinda. Let me show you this. So this tiger
Oh,
has let's see. Just I want to cover up all the other stuff. You don't need to see it too much to hear it.
He was scared, shivering, trembling for the first time in their
I want you to think about it. That is a full-grown Bengal tiger. Shivering. Do you guys want to take a guess what it's scared of? Take a guess. Take a wild idea. What has got this tiger terrified?
I'm gonna guess the outside.
It's never been able to touch grass its entire life. For 15 years, it was trapped in a train.
Poor baby.
It's on the dodo.
life. These two tigers will touch grass. She's moving, she's going. Two tigers were abandoned by the circus, living in a train over 15 years.
I want you to see that. That is where these animals lived for 15 years in a train. That is how they live their life. For the entirety of Zorro's existence, that's how these two tigers lived. They got to see grass, smell it. How is that possible? This is in South America. I think it was Argentina. Yep, this is Argentina.
The owner of this place started to feed them one time a week.
He would only feed them once a week. That's he'd come and throw food in there. That was it.
It's nothing, no stimulation, no proper care.
In the last 15 years, they never really touch the grass. They only watch it. They only see it, but they don't know what is it.
So I want you to imagine that's the life these animals live. This is why, like, I think it is terrible. This was one of the things I wanted to talk about because, like, I am not against circuses. I'm really not. I'm not against zoos. Someone's gonna say I'm racist for this, but I am against them in third world countries, and I am against them in less developed countries because they don't care. It's just like go back in Victorian times, practically.
They don't have the resources to care.
Right.
So while they're providing a certain type of service, they're definitely not providing the care because at that point, all of their resources are going towards taking care of people as opposed to having excess resources to take care of animals.
Right. And the only people that have the money to do these things are people that just
they have the excess resources. I mean, it's an economic issue more than anything else in the world. When you have the extra resources to spend, you can do them on frivolous things like and I mean, it might sound odd for me to say frivolous, but in the end, human beings are going to take care of themselves first, and they're going to take care of animals second. I understand that my life and the way I take care of my animals is an extreme form of luxury. The fact that I can have animals that are actually just pets. They don't do anything else. They don't herd. They might catch mice, but that's a bonus. They're just pets. That is a luxury item that used to only belong to the aristocracy. So,
and a lot of these people did it. You know, when you get people that have the luxury to do it, 9 out of 10 they are doing it just to make money. They're not worried about the welfare of the tiger because they know a lot of these people in these countries will never get a chance at all to see these creatures. And so they know people will pay. And they don't care if it's an emaciated tiger. They don't care if it's a dehydrated alligator. They don't care as long as it is that creature. That's all they see.
Well, and they don't understand the difference either.
Right.
And they're so busy trying to take care of themselves, again, that they don't have time to understand that these creatures aren't being well cared for.
Right. Think about SeaWorld's a perfect example. Until many of you in this chat didn't even know about the abuse that was happening to the orcas here in America. You know, and SeaWorld will just say, oh, that's natural. That even happens in the wild. This is completely normal. Whereas orcas live up to 60 to 80 years in the wild, but the average lifespan in captivity is 15 to 25 years. I mean, that's a very rare. Usually it's flipped. Captive owned usually live longer than wild.
Mm-hmm.
That alone should tell you why they shouldn't be, but you know, that's me going off on a tangent.
Until they figure out how to do it
They
right.
deserve
Right.
immediately to touch and to live free. Heard about tiger living in a train. We realize this very urgent. So we are working very hard now to move this.
How desolate that is. Like he said, there is no stimulation. None. It was an empty grassland.
I think there's probably more stimulation than we as humans understand.
True.
Because, I mean, at least they have the wind, they do have the smell. There's animals that we're not going to be paying attention to or seeing that they are. But still, they are watching it through a window that does absolutely, I mean, it's not the same. It's not right or healthy.
Right.
Animal as soon as possible to Lions Rock Big Cat Sanctuary in South Africa.
So what do you think about these cats? Were getting taken from Argentina and moved to South Africa. So they had a long journey ahead of them.
They are watching
Well,
everyone.
honestly, even doing this, you have
They
to
are on
worry
the
a little
top
bit
observing.
because these tigers aren't going to be socialized like a regular tiger. They're going to have their own issues to face. There's a lot that they haven't experienced, haven't dealt with. So,
Again, like you were looking at a tiger that was sitting there going, just looking at grass that it could actually touch.
just being able to move into a more open, not even the grass, just being able to move into a more open space where he doesn't know what's going to get him there. This has been protected. It's the same as honestly anything that is living an overprotected lifestyle. It's going to be afraid.
It's true.
All what's going on. He understands there is something is not quite like every day. But shortly, they will know why we do all this. They will have the first time in their life touch such grass.
And I mean, at the one hand, people will be like, well, look at how much room they had. They could walk back and forth. Yes, but
That's not a lot of room.
the width of that train is almost the same length as their bodies.
Well, and you're looking at creatures that literally roam hundreds of miles. They have habitats, areas for themselves that they stake out that can be hundreds of miles across.
Yep.
And that is where they live. This is not anything.
I learned recently that tigers' legs are so strong they'll keep it standing even after they breathe their last. Exactly. And there's a lot of wild animals are much more incredible than we give them credit for. I'll be the first to say that. A lot of people really just don't understand how resilient these creatures are.
Have a swimming pool to be able to enjoy the life and to live as tigers.
But do they know how to live as tigers? That's the question. I mean, because I don't know if they go through that type of
I
socialization.
believe they're wild caught.
Yeah, but if they've been in there for 15 years.
True. But it's going to be a sanctuary. They're not going to be released into the wild. So the thankful part is that.
Yeah, they're somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
The first tiger is already in the crate. I am very happy. I start to relax and now we are on plan.
I'm going to pause it, see if I can get to the part where. All right, so here's the release part. This is the female.
Food always works with big cats.
But she will go.
So they release the female first because males usually are intimidating. Even though these tigers have been housed together for almost 20 years, they make sure the female's in first so that way she has the territory first. so she feels less threatened.
This she will go. She accommodates this.
And look at how skinny she is. Like that, I think is what broke my heart the most, is just seeing a tiger looking so lanky. And just, that's not naturally tigers. I got teary-eyed watching this video earlier today, I can't lie.
She was scared to go out, but when they go out, immediately they wanted to discover the place, to smell the grass.
It's just crazy to think about that was her first time, potentially ever. Females won't share territories, they'll kill each other. Right, exactly. Males will, females won't. They crouch down and don't move so T-Rex won't get them.
Mm-hmm.
Us to taste it. The second one,
Look at how scared he is. That's what got me
bigger
upset.
he is.
Oh yeah, he's big. He's still skinny, but he big.
Big boy.
was the old maid. Scared, he was afraid. He's thinking, looking out.
Like he's looking at her, and what was really freaking me out is how much he looked like Orion at this moment. I've seen Orion make the face that he's making. Hold on, let me make it bigger so you guys can see. That face he's making, I've seen Orion make that exact face when he was scared.
Yeah.
And it was just...
Outside,
Terror.
go out, not go out. But to see him shivering,
that shivering, it just broke my heart.
tremoring. What's going on? Should I go?
Aww.
We were living together many years. Over 10 years we are living together. We are family.
The comfort they seek in each other. And that's... Again, this is not natural for tigers, guys. They don't normally do this. They're not bonded like that.
Nope.
They'll mate, but then they'll go their separate ways for a year and then come back together a year later. So it's, again, think about how bad it had to be to make a tiger scared. Oh, good night, Derp. I'm going to be going to bed soon anyways because it's 1 a.m. and Starman has a doctor's appointment in the morning. But I thought we could leave off on a little bit more hope.
They will share the place together again. How wonderful.
And look at who is initiating to who. He is the one coming up to her.
It's like Neil Armstrong. When he go to the moon, when he makes his first step, it is the same. He is astronaut. He is touching now a new territory.
I love that face.
He smelled something he liked.
I love that face because a lot of folks don't realize that's their scenting face.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I see people see cats make those faces, I'm like, they're not upset. They're just scenting.
Yeah, it doesn't stink. They just want to smell more of it.
A new planet for him.
Everything is new for them. The grass under their feet and even a tree is something they didn't know.
Look, you can see she's got a little bit of a...
Wonky eye.
She's probably either a little inbred or something. Cross-eyed in tigers usually is a sign of inbreeding. Or injury, but typically inbreeding.
Oh, before.
Surprised she had a head injury, but...
It would not surprise me if she had a head injury, no.
They are able to explore and to feel the first time how it is to walk without really an end. Makes me feel very happy because they really deserve it, and I believe that we owe it to them.
Now notice all that room they had, and what did they choose? Stay right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That shows how much living in that little boxcar really affected them. It's crazy. But I had to show you guys. Because I was like, that was what I saw a couple of things tonight. But I am feeling the pain. I am definitely feeling the pain from this. So, what was that?
Just something on my desk.
But yes. So I told you guys it's gonna be a bit of a weepy episode. It's gonna be tears and all that jazz, and it's definitely better than how I looked the night Zoro died. There's so much I said on that video. I talked for like 40 minutes. And I was like, oh my god, that was way too much. Shared trauma, right, exactly. They're finding comfort in each other. Because, I mean, they're not meant to live like that, guys. They aren't.
Bless you.
Thank you. Ugh. My whole entire... Oh! This was one. Oh. Nope, I lied. I know the one I wanted to show you. I'm gonna warn you. I'm gonna warn you. This is tough to watch. But I think this is a good lesson to teach people. So, when I first started up this video, I thought this was her dog. This is not her dog. So, what is she doing wrong here, guys?
For one, she's down in a dog's face.
Guesses on... Oh, you seen this. And, Mitchell, don't say it. What's about to happen, guys? I will warn you, this is tough. And this is a breed of dog.
Is that a Shih Tzu or an Akita?
That's a Akita, I think. It's
Or
no,
not
no, it's a Chow. It's a Chow.
Oh, but that wasn't the one I was thinking. The other one. What's the blonde one? Shiba Inu. There we go.
I believe no, that's not a Shiba Inu. This is a Chow Chow, I believe. Let me see.
Chows are usually bigger and fluffier, aren't they?
That's a big dog, girl.
Oh, looks smaller from here.
That's a big old boy. That's a Chow Chow. And Chow Chows they're a Spitz breed. They're from northern China, and
they're very aggressive.
They're very aggressive dogs, and you should never approach a dog that is not yours to begin with.
No,
but
you most certainly don't get in a dog's face that's not yours.
This is that shaking. I have had that level of pain. Not in my face, thank God. Yeah, they are one owner dogs. There's a reason why that owner felt confident leaving that dog out there like that, because they knew the dog would stay right where it was. My black ass would never.
Neither would my white one, so.
Here's what I will tell you. I will approach a dog if I feel it needs me, like it's in danger or something. But typically, it is not wise to approach a strange dog, or at the very least, approach it like she did. Now, I will grant her this. She wasn't being malicious. She wasn't doing it to be malicious. She wasn't doing it to be rude. She saw a cute dog and she wanted to see it. But numerous reasons why that was bad. She was covering the dog's head with the umbrella. She created a closed and tight environment. See? This right here is what she did. And this isn't even as close as she was. She was literally this close. This close to the dog. That she didn't know. And if you notice, right before, because the dog was actually being very well behaved, right before this dog attacked her, her daughter reached up and pet the top of the head, which automatically makes the dog think something's coming after them. And go ahead, you have something.
It's one of those things people don't understand in training. When you're dealing with a dog in general, you don't come up over the head. You always reach for the shoulder or around the neck, under the chin, because that lifts their head and it makes them feel more confident. If you come up over their head, you're pushing them down. It's more of a dominance thing. You're going to make the dog feel unstable. And it's something that too many people, because you've seen it on TV too much where people reach out and pat the top of the dog's head. You can do that with a dog that's yours, that you're really familiar with, that has shown he likes it. But if you're dealing with a young dog, a new dog, someone else's dog, you always come in from the side, from underneath. For the biggest, it's just like dealing with a horse. When you're petting a horse, you don't go for the face, because the horse very likely going to bite you or paw you or any number of things. You go for the side of the neck or the shoulder or something larger where the dog or the horse understands you're reaching to touch and it can see you and understands. And it's the same thing for a dog.
Good night, Esteban. We're going to go to bed. I am in a minute. The umbrella did not help at all. The umbrella made it worse.
Well, umbrella made it way worse.
Way worse.
Well, and then having both of them, her and her daughter, right there on top of the dog, pushing the dog into a tighter, you're making the dog feel cornered and yeah.
And again, like, that was incredibly well behaved for a chow. But that's the point. You don't approach strange animals. And this is for any, because honestly, the hand above is bad for cats too. Most animals, because again, where do predators come from? Where does danger come from? Above. Most animals have instincts about that. That's why they'll always look up. They'll check up. You'll see animals that have those instincts. Often when they look around, up is part of it. And so it's just, that was one where it was like, I knew I saw something. I was like, I saw some stuff, but between the nose and the throat, my head is actually starting to hurt. Even though we cleaned out the litter boxes, I think it's just been a long day. And also I've cried a lot. And
all the crying and litter and everything else. Yeah, that's going to fuck with your sinuses.
And so I hope to stream tomorrow, guys. We'll see.
Taken any decongestants?
Oh, yeah. I took Cidex and I took a Benadryl.
Benadryl is not a decongestant.
Well, no, this is an allergic reaction. So the thing is, Benadryl would counteract whatever is causing it.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. The honey is what's been doing the best, but I'm tired. It's been a long week. But yeah, so that's two things. I'll leave you off on an uplifting story and just another lesson in...
Don't put your face in other animals' faces. Just don't do it. You don't like things in your face, don't get in their face.
It's literally tale as old as time. Fuck around, find out. That's what I have noticed. But other than that, I think that is a great place for the night. Horror, why don't you start us out, babe?
I will not be doing... Oh, no, I take that back. I was about to say I'm not doing anything tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we are watching Children of the Corn in either my Gilded or in a Discord that I'm going to set up specifically for movies. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Then Wednesday, I'll be on the midweek hump. I don't think we have a guest for this week. To figure that out. Thursday, I will be reading more Lovecraft. I read a good 2.5 hours of Lovecraft last Thursday, and I will be starting with the Call of Cthulhu tomorrow night.
Of course.
Or on Thursday night, actually. That's when that is. Friday, I'll be playing some more Baldur's Gate. Saturday, I will be doing 7 Days to Die, Black Cat, if you want to come by and watch some zombies. I shoot them mostly, though. Sunday, I don't know what we're doing Sunday, but I'll figure it out. And then Monday, I'll be back here with Star Stan, and we'll have a lot of fun talking about our furry friends and hopefully not crying as much.
I think, again, by then, because now that we've had our cathartic moment, I'll have a little longer.
Talk through it a little, yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but I think we're going to be able to, whatchamacallit, collect some more animal stuff this coming week, find some cool things. So we shall see. As for me, now that I can edit, I can be in the room and edit, I should be getting 2 videos out this week. One, the one that I have been trying to get out for like 2 months now, and a quick edit one that I made before I left for Gatlinburg. If I feel okay and I feel up to it, I will be streaming tomorrow at 12. And then you will obviously see my fresh uploads. There should be one on Thursday and potentially one on Friday. We'll see. Depends on how much I get done. Then you will see me Sunday here with Peachy and Faye Queen for Mother Smothered. And then you will see me next week here on Monday with my lovely Crier in Crime and Horror and Murata. Because there's one bad thing about me and Horror. We seem to always get each other a little weepy. And the worst thing is we're not criers.
I hate crying.
I do it all the time outside here. Like today, guys, it finally happened. I found an isekai where it's a real story. And it isn't just a real story, guys. I was sobbing today. I read all 60 chapters. It's The Duchess Has a Death Wish. If you like manga, if you like isekai in any form, or if you just want to read something different, go on mangagirl.me or .net. Look up The Duchess Has a Death Wish. It's so good. It's really good. It takes this entire genre, flips it on its head. Oh, and there's one last thing, although I am a little sad. Remember, guys, if you make your own stuff, if I'm going to, my first advertisement is going to be for this studio. It is Born Different Studios. I feel bad because it came a little broken, so she's actually very kindly sending me another pair.
Oh, those are pretty.
As you see, let's see. One's missing a petal.
Yeah.
Just got them today.
Focus!
Focus, damn it!
Okay, it just, I don't know what its problem is.
I don't know what's going on, but either way.
But those are still pretty, what we can see of them.
These stunning earrings.
Oh, there we go. Very pretty.
As you see, they're not very big.
No.
So she did this all with little tiny tools.
Very nice.
And she has a lot of stuff right now. So her Instagram, she even sent me these cute little studs that I can't use, but I'm gonna try to find soft backs for, so I can use. And I dropped the card. Her packaging is really nice.
Oh, very nice.
And she got everything, and she's very professional. I messaged her, and she's actually sending me another pair.
Nice.
So that way I can utilize them. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these ones, but they're still lovely. And but yeah, she says this really cute thing where she writes your name and says thank you, and it is a whole little care tip card.
Oh, cute.
And she even gives you a 10% off code. So very awesome. So yeah, right here.
Focus. Okay, there you go. Very nice.
Born Different Studio. So make sure you go and like her stuff. I'm going to advertise her because she is starting to make her Christmas stuff. So I want to make sure she gets some business for the coming season. Even if I don't have a lot, I have at least some people that I believe would be very interested in her stuff. She hand makes it all. She does a very good job. And I cannot believe she is as talented as any other polymer clay shop that I've seen on Instagram. Yet she has the same size following as me. And I was like, that is a crime. That is an absolute crime. So if you're looking for something a little creative and outside the box for either a gift or for yourself, consider looking at her shop. She has a lot of really nice stuff. A lot of really nice stuff. And again, it's all handmade. So yeah, I think that's it for now for me. Remember to get your animals spayed or neutered. Remember to tell people that are important to you that you love them and to be safe. So, Horror,
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Be safe.
You too.
Everybody, I love you all. Be safe. And besides Black Cat's bullying me to turn on the sink, have a great night, everybody. Hey, why are you doing this?